We're talking about tape, and in particular, Kinesio-Tape, and something new that I'm a much bigger fan of than that's dynamic tape. So Kinesio-Tape, I think it's very well known. Many athletes use it. Many professionals, like physical therapists, chiropractors, physicians use it. And we always get the question, what does it do? Right? What are we actually doing with this tape? And typically we give the response of, oh, it's doing something, right? It's we think, oh, it's gonna help you somehow in a way. Placebo effect, and nobody really knows what it does. And there's been research upon research upon research, and some of it's vague and says it's better than no treatment at all, which is cool. You could go lay on a bag of ice, and that's probably maybe better. Well, maybe not ice, but you can go lay on a heat pack, and that's probably better than no treatment at all. So just understand this does not solve any problems permanently. It will not. So if you have back pain, you tape up your back. It's great. You look cool. But it's not going to solve anything permanently, right? Is there a placebo effect? Probably. What the research does show is that if this does anything, having this piece of tape on a body part will improve your ability to know where it is in space. So if I'm, right, we've all seen the volleyball players, and I believe the swimmers as well, like Michael Phelps, maybe he was more cupping, excuse me, but the volleyball players had the Kinesio-Tape on. And we're like, oh, wow, they got this tape on. It's definitely doing something. And right, if it does anything at all, hey, it helps them know where that knee is in space, and they can maybe help control it as they're landing and jumping and doing all these crazy motions, right? If that's the benefit and that's what you're going for, and you got a big race coming up, and you're like, hey, let me put this tape on. Maybe it's hockey, right? Even sprinting, running, maybe CrossFit, right? Something that's going on where you're high intensity, moving quickly, changing directions. Totally fine, go for it, right? It's completely fine. And worst case scenario, hey, it's a placebo effect, that's awesome. But guys, the point I'm trying to bring home is this tape, there's not much to it. And if we take this apart, what you'll notice is there's not much of a tensile quality here, right? When I pull this apart, it's just, I'm barely pulling on this and it's going, right? There's not much of a give at all. There's nothing that's challenging me and saying, oh, this is really tough. Like, I have to actually do this. So that's a huge difference between this and the dynamic tape, which we'll get to right now. So with the dynamic tape, this tape has a much more, let me get this out of here, a tensile quality to it. And what I mean by that is when we use this tape, got my last roll here, this tape is much more stretchy. So when I stretch this out, what we're going to find is it actually has a good amount of give to it. I'm like, man, I really have to pull this thing apart to get it apart, right? I really have to yank on this. I have to apply some good amount of force to pull it back. And when I do pull it back, it's like, wow, it wants to spring back on me. It wants to go from here. It wants to pull back. So there's actually a very good amount of tensile force. And there's actually 3 kinds of tape. This is the lightest, and there's a really good amount of force on this. And when I pull, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really, again, not crazy. I'm not like dying here, but I can feel that force. And it wants to come back. It wants to spring back. That's why I like this tape, because if you're right a week out from your marathon, all of a sudden, I got some calf and some Achilles issues going on, or I got my patellar tendonitis, or this quad tendon is starting to get me. I can't take time off. I got this marathon, this race coming up. I got this CrossFit event coming up. My shoulder's acting up. What we can do is use this tape to offload that area. So to keep it simple, let's say I have some golfer's elbow. So I've been too many rounds of golf on the weekends. It's getting warmer out, you went too hard. So too much of this motion here, right? And the inside here is, it's just really flared up. So what we can do is use this tape to assist with this motion. So I'm gonna crudely put this on. All right, I just wanna do it for the sake of demonstration here. There's a much better way to do this, and there's a way you're supposed to do this, but I'm gonna crudely put this on. All right, we're gonna actually put it on in this position here, right? You put it on in the position you're having issues with. So it's this wrist down motion. So I'm gonna apply this on. Again, this is not how you actually supposed to apply it. You wanna add a little more stretch than this, but the rules will apply here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's just, again, a crudely applied dynamic tape. By no means is this how we're supposed to do it. But when I come back this way, the tape is actually, I feel this force wanting to help me do this. It wants to pull my wrist down, which is fantastic because I'm here, and if I have this tennis elbow, right? This is the motion that's getting me. Well, guess what? This is now assisting in that motion. It's going to offload that tissue. Is this going to solve the problem permanently? No, this will not solve the problem permanently. And I don't want you to use it that way, right? If you have something going on and you're like, hey, I just want this to feel better. I want to offload it before I start treating it permanently and treating treating that root cause, which is probably some shoulder stuff going on. Guys, the hands are smart. If we have some stuff in the elbows and hands and wrist pain, look at the shoulders, right? There's probably something going on here where we're missing some mobility or some just movement quality. So this will not solve the problem permanently, but if you have, in this case, a big golf tournament coming up and you got hey, flared up, I got 18 holes, I got this big tournament coming up in a week or a couple days, using dynamic tape is a fantastic way to get you by before you can say, okay, now let's start treating this thing permanently and treating that root cause. Again, guys, dynamic tape is fantastic. If you actually want to use a product that you're gonna, right? This has all of the benefits of Kinesio-Tape plus the elasticity and plus the tensile and actual benefits, right? Actual helping you with that motion that Kinesio-Tape does not do. So if you're looking for a tape, looking for something to say, hey, I have a big event coming up, I need something that I can apply quickly, have effective, and also this stays on for a long period of time. It's very breathable. You can also get it wet, right? It's just a fantastic product. I have no financial incentive with dynamic tape. I just really love the product, so I wanted to make a video on it. So guys, if you're that person who's very active and you've had this happen before, where I'm running marathon in a week, I got a calf strain or an Achilles tendonitis going on, a fantastic product we can use to get you by until right after that race, until you have some time to actually address the root cause.